We are tracking Hilary, the history-making storm slamming the Southern California desert, making landfall in Baja California and moving up the state. Residents of the region facing strong winds, record-shattering rainfall, and flooding.
Yeah, what a mess. It is the first storm of its kind to drench Southern California since 1997. And joining us now with more on the conditions there is ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. Rob, good to see you. Let's go ahead and start with Palm Springs. How much rainfall did that area see?
We had about a half a year's worth of rainfall in just one day. How much was that? Just under 3 inches, which doesn't sound like a lot to anybody else who lives across the country, but we're technically in a desert here. So that was a lot of rain. We had records here. We had records in Palmdale. We had record rain at just under 2 inches in San Diego. So a wide area of seeing some rainfall that doesn't sound like a lot to anybody who doesn't live in Southern California, but was enough to certainly create a lot of flash flooding. And you can hear the action behind me too.
Yeah, I can see the guy with the chainsaw cutting down the tree there behind you. What was the extent of the damage in that area, Rob?
Well, a lot of this is a big eucalyptus tree, which they don't typically do well in wind, but they're not planted in places that have hurricanes. This is a really big one, came down on this house. Nobody was inside, so they're okay, but obviously they got a lot of work to do there. Palm fronds, pieces of palm trees flying all over this place yesterday, so they're basically got some heavy equipment out to clear those roadways, and we had all the flash flooding. So we still have yet to see a lot of the areas, Eva. You know, we're going to head up towards I-10. There's rumors of it being shut down. That's banked up against the mountains. And I think if the closer you get to and into the mountains, we're going to see more in the way of debris flows and mudslides that may have at least shut down and carved out some roads, if not done more damage. So even though the rains have stopped here, the work's not done as far as cleanup and certainly reporting on this story.
And Rob, why is it so potentially devastating for these communities when they see so much rainfall?
Well, DeMarco, I mean, you've been out here. You know, this area, it's like concrete. I mean, the desert, you know, right underneath the immediate soil is like a clay concrete, so the rainfall doesn't soak in. It just runs off. And you're anywhere near a burn scar, and those are the places that they evacuated where there was a wildfire and they carved out that landscape. Those are more susceptible, even more susceptible to flooding, rains, and mudslides. So it's a dangerous spot to be, especially if you're in the higher terrain, DeMarco.
Rob, it's so unusual to hear the word hurricane with especially Southern California. So, of course, people are immediately going to start thinking about climate change. Walk us through kind of what this means, why it's happening.
Well, this was an extraordinary situation, not unprecedented. Last time a tropical storm actually made landfall in California was back in 1939, so back when we were even talking about climate change. So there isn't necessarily a direct link to this situation. It does happen. It's just very, very rare. The warmer water in the Pacific held this thing together a little bit longer, and its speed, it was moving along pretty quickly. So that certainly helped. But what climate change does in these rain events is it amplifies the rain. Anywhere from 10 to 20% more rainfall comes out of some of these rain events, and obviously in a tropical system, they got a lot of rain to begin with, so that there was a little bit of a amping of this storm with climate change.
So, Rob, can Southern Californians expect to see more rainfall, extreme weather in the years and months to come?
Yeah, well, to Eva's point, right, they don't get hurricanes and tropical storms very often. It does happen, they don't get them very often. They get their moisture during the winter months from storms that are powered by the Pacific jet stream. But there are studies that have shown that those storms as well do increase their amount of rainfall as we increase the heat in the atmosphere. So yeah, California's like much like what we saw this past winter. Crazy amounts of precip. I think those years hopefully are more ahead, as opposed to the drought years that we are familiar with as well. So kind of feast your famine here on the West Coast, and it can get rough, guys.
Looks like you've got a long day ahead of you there, Rob. Thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.